Hey folks, welcome to the Salty Seaman. Today I'm going to give you a little addendum to my original military video, tips for Navy boot camp. I'm going to do a little more adding on to that, especially for how you should show up and what kind of stuff you should show up for. And we're going to make this a little more, service around. Originally did the video, I was sticking to the Navy because it's what I know. And I wasn't initially intending for this to be a military channel. So, but yeah, the video, I still think the video is really good. I like the video. Go back and watch the original too. I'll put the links into the description if you've never seen them. But I wanted to add on to this a little bit and talk about just a couple of like little things for those of you first joining, and how you should show up, what you should and shouldn't do. Just a little addendum. So a lot of it's kind of funny, just stuff we see and we make fun of here, us veterans and stuff. So I thought it'd be interesting, just from that perspective. So here we go. A couple of extra tips for how to show up for boot camp or basic. One of the first things is motivation. This is, I think, a very tricky subject because you get into you're going into your service, you're proud to serve your country, you're proud to go work for this branch, whichever one you chose. If you show up in like your DEP shirt, your delayed entry program shirt, your recruiter gave you, no, yeah, that's fine. No problems there. It's more of coming in, say you're going into the Marine Corps and you're so excited and you're just head to toe in like everything, and keeping it generic's probably not going to be too bad, but once you start putting in stuff in the outfit that is like force recon or whatever specialty you're looking forward to or really think is really cool, you're just like, hey, cool Marine stuff or cool SEAL stuff and blah blah blah. You're going to get shit. It's one of those things where you think you're going in and you're going to be, they're going to be appreciative of you of being so, into joining, but that's not their job. Their job's not there to like support your, pride and whatnot. Their job is there to take down your pride. So, that's giving them ammunition. And I'm not saying don't, like I said, you've got a DEP shirt on. It says like, hey, I'm from, the delayed entry program in Sheboygan, Illinois. Yeah, that's fine. But, watch how much stuff you're putting into it. And that brings me to another one is, haircuts for guys. With girls, I don't think it really matters. I mean, obviously, if you're going to go in as a girl, you're going to get your hair chopped to here. I mean, that's just how it is. You come in with a haircut shorter than that, they just let you go. Guys don't get it so easy. Obviously, you come in with, they're going to shave you bald no matter what. And these are stories I've heard, guys who come in trying to, it's like fuck the system on this and come in and shave their head, get trimmed anyway, which basically means somebody who doesn't care about your head is going to go around it, which has no hair anyway, but they're going to make sure you don't have any left. And so now you've got still a bald head, but now with nicks and cuts all over it. For our Navy folks, we have, of course, the infamous Dragon Lady, who I believe still cuts hair to this day in Great Lakes. I do not know if she was mine. I think she was. I really do. And she is still there. So, just another extra tip for you guys going in the Navy. Beware of the Dragon Lady in the barbershop. Now, here's one I didn't think I would ever have to do, or I wouldn't normally think I have to do. But in fact, I know I do because I've, this whole thing this goes back to my first ship. And, I talked about this guy just recently on my Tales from the Fleet with Brian Roth. We call him Honeycomb. This kid was just nicest guy in the world, but just not very bright. He comes from a very poor and very ignorant background. I think from an area I used to live in Arkansas. Actually, I think he was from the Pocahontas region. I'm from Ash Flat Hardy, or at least I went to high school. I don't claim it. I'm a Georgia boy. But regardless, he showed up to boot camp without shoes. And maybe I told this story on one of my Tales from the Fleet. Fully, I don't remember. But this is the story I know. He basically thought that his civilian clothes were going to get thrown away. he either didn't ask or, obviously wasn't told by his recruiter. It's like, no, they box up and send it back home. So coming from a very poor family with a lot of younger brothers and sisters, before he gets on the plane, this is pre 9/11, by the way. So, the family just follows you to the friggin' gate. He takes off his shoes and gives them to his next little brother, I guess, would be the closest in size. Make sure he gets the shoes. But anyways, he shows up in Great Lakes with, in his stocking feet, which, I can imagine, might have been the first for probably a lot of those recruiters, but maybe RDC's company commanders. I think it was company commanders at the time, but regardless, or maybe not. I mean, maybe they've seen it a few times. I'm sure they saw it back in the day. But don't your stuff will get back to your family. You do not have to worry about it. I just thought that was funny. Another one. This one, if we just saw recently, a guy went through Marine boot camp, showed up obviously to make his statement. He had the mullet. He had the Budweiser American flag shirt on. I'll put the picture up. Obviously this kid went in there to, on purpose. And that's one way to do it. I mean, you go in there, looking a certain way, knowing, of course, all that's going to go away, fairly quick. But, remember, that kind of stuff is giving the first impression of your drill sergeants, your drill instructors, your company commanders, RDCs, whatnot, that, you're a smart ass. Or maybe they might think it's funny. Even if they think it's funny, they probably do. That guy probably was like the talk of, the drill instructors at, I think it was San Diego. But at the same time, it's not like they're going to be nice on you for doing it. They're going to treat you like the asshole you are because you're an asshole, and they're assholes, but they're bigger assholes. So I would, tread lightly. I would say tread lightly on that kind of stuff because unless you just want it, if that's what you want, and there's guys who go to boot camp that want the worst experience possible, hey man, go for it. Staying on the same topic, tattoos. Now there is one that'll get you in trouble, especially depending on what the tattoo is. Even just a service tattoo, you have not been in the service yet. You showed up to get in the service already with tattoo, which means whether you make it or not, you're leaving with that ink. And of course, you can get it removed or you can get it covered up. But people don't take kindly to that. That's, and that happens, of course, all the time, especially as tattoos have become so popular. Like I said, when I went through Navy boot camp, there were guys with tattoos and brandings and other stuff. I never saw anyone with a Navy tattoo, until I got to A school in the fleet and I saw people, and I ran into people who said, I got it before I joined because I was all proud and blah, blah, blah. But and Marines, I know it happens a lot, and that's definitely a big deal. So, a little shout out to my people joining the Marines. No, do not get the globe and anchor tattooed on you. You have not earned it yet. Do not do that. That's a target. You're going into any of the services in one of the special forces, or you're trying to get into said special forces, SEALs, Sniper School, MARSOC, Delta Force, whatever. You do not get the tattoo in boot camp or anywhere else until you have earned that. You do not want that trouble. I could not imagine going to BUD/S, which I'm sure has happened a million times, going into BUD/S with a friggin' SEAL tattoo. Because those are people who don't play about that stuff for reals. So no, don't get any service tattoos until you have graduated boot camp. If you're absolutely determined to do it, wait until graduation weekend. And just one final note, one thing I find very funny, I talked about in the first video is just knowing anything about what you're about to get into. Back in my day, a little harder because, you pretty much had your recruiter and, anyone you knew who had been through boot camp to talk to you about. And, I had my recruiter, I didn't really ask a lot. And I had my dad who I also didn't ask about, and he also went through Marine boot camp in the 50s, and I went through Navy boot camp in the 90s, so not the same goddamn thing at all. So, I went in there like that, and, it's one thing I want to focus on again. Again, it wasn't the first video, it's being prepared, and I think it's one thing you really need to know. You really need to know, how does this work? How does this organization I'm about to join work? Look up those structures. Look up all the stuff they're going to try to, if you don't learn it before, they're going to cram it to your brain in boot camp anyway. Go ahead and get all that, just know what you're getting into, read about, okay, here's all the different phases of my particular boot camp work and what I can expect in each phase. You have all that at your fingertips. There's tons of videos here on YouTube, guys who went through and like have vlogged their entire experience. They're very, they'll a lot of them are pretty up to date. So it's going to be exactly what you're going through. Look this stuff up. Be diligent. Use the material at hand, especially for us old guys who didn't have that. Wish we did. Also, wish we tried a little harder to figure out what we were getting into. And boot camp wouldn't have been such a shock those first couple of weeks. Again, a reminder: if you're young and pretty much in good health, I said I was 18, slightly chubby, and I was fine after a couple of weeks, pretty much just because I was young and resilient. But it was still a shock to my system, and those first 2 weeks really, really did suck. So that's it for the Salty Seaman. I got two more things coming in the shoot coming up. Part 2 of my interview with my buddy Brian Roth. I'll really get into his time on the ship. And, my much long promised next military movie Bullshit, which chosen by the fans is Jarhead. We'll see how that goes. I'm not a Marine in war combat, so I know what I know, which is all these videos just as a reminder, and of course on those videos, those who've actually been Marines in combat, welcome to add more what's wrong with the movie, other things they left out, blah, blah, blah. But we'll get more to that when we do it. Anyways, love you freaks, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace.